Both them sticking to the breach. Teo comp, you're basically going to have another fight ready to go every 40 seconds. And this is going to be a game that is going to be honestly decided in a lot of rounds by these opening gambits. Who can get the most space? Who can actually get an advantage player-wise with that first burst of Teo Breach Util?
Taking a look at where MIBR is set up on the pistol round here, Brent. 3 players ready to defend against a potential B hit. And this, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what C9 are going for here, but they're certainly looking to pressure B early while taking mount control.
MIBR holding down a fault line. Salvos as well. As soon as Aspas takes contact, which might be shortly, Drone spots it, fault line to follow, and here's Aspas swinging wide to the side. Stun to help him out here, but narrowly avoided and dodged and juked, and Oxy is making the most out of a chaotic situation. 2 picks for him.
Cortez just still has wall on C.
He's going to attempt to slow this one down, stall it out, try and get these rotations all the way back in, leaping into the fight like a salmon upstream. Able to trade out these kills into a 2v2 now with a pistol round. Net plant down. There's no stopping this one, and control towards CT is called for.
And a push.
Oh yeah, all the way deep as well. Oh my god, just missing the moment there, and just seeing, spotting the shoulders. Net, he's taking a bullet there for his brethren. That was meant for Vic. And now forced to back away, isolated into this fight here, paranoid up. Can't see much in this spot. He's got to know roughly the positioning of these players, but tucked up now, tight to pillar. It's all a gamble. It's all what he's banking on. Spotted, right click here. Toppling around, man. Just dropping off, and Verna, watchful eye onto the perch, so it's going to be able to get that defuse.
C9, their push into spawn there was maybe a bit further than I would have liked from them. I'm not sure exactly what the call was in this kind of situation. Oxy did a great job of avoiding this trap play. It looked like Aspas had outplayed him, but Oxy managed to wiggle around and even get 2 out of that. But here, as it got down to the 2v2, sorry, Vic may have just stretched himself out just a little bit too far there, trying to take the fight into spawn.
I do like that opening from MIBR, though, setting up the trap play on B. Ends up being very effective to get those 2 kills. Combining the util to get full coverage of that space is this round. It's going to be a fight towards Mount.
I am anticipating that we see some massive rubble fights at some point in this game. But the meta has trended often on Lotus away from them. They're super high variance, and so you'll often see the attacking teams try to take mount control and then re-clear rubble, which is somewhat what Oxy's trying to do here, but I don't think he's expecting too much success when he's got a Sheriff against, you know, whatever weaponry MIBR might have.
Playing this Neon means you have no Yoru clone to deal with that Vise wall. You basically have to commit bodies to take it down.
Oh, a bit of spam from Cortez here goes a long way.
Only 20 bullets.
Avoids most of it. Oh, players running him down. 20 bullets did play a part in it, as you said, maybe as well on top of it. Just not quite enough ammunition to plant down here. Mitch hard committing, hard sticking. A bit of stray bullets to the Guardian shots, almost laying claim to a couple of kills. Cloud9 to plant. That's all they were really looking for. Repeat occurring, but all cleaned up in the end here. So MIBR, good beginning. Nice early start here, getting 2 rounds underneath them.
This map trends really fairly heavily attack-sided, but I think the Neon adds an extra wrinkle to it, because it means you can be even more effective at going for flood retakes than you would be with other compositions. Aspas is almost always going to be able to rotate over in time, be ready to actually get out on site. And that's especially true when you're playing this Vise, having some of the strongest stall util in the game on those Thorns. Means that C9, probably, despite having excellent exec power, are going to have to sometimes play these slower rounds, try and set up pivots into B and really work to get rid of their opponent's utility.
Same defense, trap over towards B from MIBR by the look of things. This time maybe triggered off Aspas contact, whereas C9, this is what their rubble take is going to look like.
Wall up and over, there's no pushback from MIBR, as you mentioned. They already, at least were set up for the B main aggro. Fault line sent flying forwards along with the salvos. That's to disrupt Zephyr. Tucked to that spot here. Paranoia, though, still going to be sweeping into the back of the side, and Shannon is no more. Quickly taken care of. Plant now for Cloud9 on top of it. Cortesia is making himself known. Getting tripped up in the process. Util's going to be used pound for pound here to try and stall this one out. MIBR still going to make a decent go at this one here, but the one-way reset up into your faces, trying to cross past this one is difficult at best, yet still making the most of it. MIBR still, there's a path to be paved, and it's paved in blood at this point. VANAZI making the most, and good with the movement, at least to stay alive for a moment there from Aspas, yet Vic is doing the most. 3 kills so far into the round. Cortesia noted. Not much more you can do from this spot. A bit more economical damage. Could be what he's looking for.
C9 easily cleaning this one up, though, when all's said and done. And Cortesia just slumps his way to his knees into the spike.
I do like this look from C9, ready to accelerate really quickly through tree. A lot of the times you will see fights, as was the case in this round, where the defenders come back through Baby Door and are really trying to fight out before the attackers can get onto the site. By pathing heavy through tree, they can isolate that site anchor and take them down before support can properly arrive. And you know Oxy's going to be good for those kills.
Aspas has the operator looking over towards C. C9, rubble take again is what's on the cards. You see they use the salvos there to stop somebody fighting them aggro, teleport, but that was out rather than further in, so Shenom's going to survive at least for a little longer. He was the player that got caught anchoring the A side previously, so he's going to be hyper aware that Oxy could be looking to run him down.
Yeah, it's just going to go into a B split, it looks like. Release the option for it. Cloud9 don't like what they see. Smokes propped up, blooming. Gonna try and break some of this util, and that's Baby Door completely knocked down. Cortesia is going to be hearing this now. Rumble of footsteps facing his way. Main control is pretty essential.
The heavy pressure towards Revolving Door means that C9 had to spend, or MIBR had to spend a lot of time re-clearing. They're only now arriving to retake.
Now through heaven, the first line of defense is going to be Oxy. Smoke's going to be dissipating at some point. That's his team laying down some util. They know the timings inherently, and as the door's opened up, well, Net's going for a bit of exploration. Quick snap to the side. Hospital flick to dodge the flash, but not enough to dodge the bullets. It's going even ever so slightly, still player disadvantage, but Cloud9 may be able to equalize. Zephyr weaving in and out, Armageddon at your feet. Nowhere to stand, nowhere to hide. You're gonna wait out that ult though. Plenty of time on the clock to make the go of this one for Cortesia.
Cortesia's just Mr. 2K today. The amount of rounds where he has somehow managed to win out in 1v2 situations is beyond impressive. I want to see it back, how he managed to pull that off.
It looked very chaotic, didn't it? It looked like there might have been potential for C9 to slow that one down, just ever so slightly. But take a look at it here in the replay again. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty nasty.
It is nasty. The double face there towards the end to play the 2v1 is it's not necessarily a bad call, but they could have, I think, forced Cortesia to make the moment happen for him rather than kind of peek into him one by one like that.
This comp, though, all gas, no brakes.
Sending it once more, straight up into the double door, and there's a player waiting, watching! Ult online, already ripped out and taken out in the blink of an eye. 4v4 for the opening of this round. Smoke up and around, leaping into the fight again, sets up his team for a bit of success there. Zephyr with the cleanup and the trade instantaneous at that. Jump spot is good, they know. Aspas trying to take a fight. Drop down into pit, and they're just trying to run these players down right now, but do you really want to contest with this guy right now? Zephyr, last one left, and they're making a mockery of the situation. Running rings around Zephyr.
Back-to-back rounds, C9 create the chaos. They send it on these wild rounds, and then honestly fail to thrive in some of the chaos they end up bringing through.
Shenon being able to pick up that kill is vitally important, I think. Oxy is such the tip of the spear for the team in these kind of spots. If you let him get going,
let's go.
Can get dangerous.
We have 3 ultimates.
That they do.
Right. Cortesia getting fired up though as well, making sure that he's keeping his team on the right straight and narrow in terms of the calling and what's important for them heading forwards.
Here we go again. This time different pathing. He's headed towards Baby Door.
Salvo's immediately breaking that one open, but it's a counter stunning order. Bucky's in play, still followed up and cleaned up, and it's a rifle obtained. Quick plant now down onto the B site. Rapid plays by Cloud9 seems to be the name of the game. And Vic is hyper aggressive. Could be trying to take this peek into him. Aspas! Straight transfer. Not quite aligning there, but Cortesia's doing And definitely done enough damage, and to this point for Cloud9, Zephyr and Net, last ones have to stand against most of this. Aspas running them down and away, and a quick snap to the side. Shainham dismisses and deals with Zephyr almost single-handedly, and baiting Net out wide.
That was just an eco, but this is the third round now in a row where C9 have full sent off the rip, got themselves a solid opening and position into sight, but then in their post plant have tried to continue that momentum forward into a deep spite into spawn, into link, and have ended up losing the round off of the trades because of that.
Yeah, it's the fight over there towards Waterfall that just goes so badly for them. And I think MIBR look really happy to play at this higher tempo, which wasn't something I was necessarily expecting. I think C9, more naturally, we assume, are going to thrive in the chaotic situations because they're the ones that are creating it. But that has not been the case.
Buddy, these barriers are going down, and I'm seeing 5v4 in terms of the players. There's a stun immediately to try and dissipate some of this action, take a bit of bite out of the round, but as you peek past that one into the fray, Rolling Thunder, pushing them all the way back. This is MIBR, look at it equalize. Succeeded at least at that first level of the plan, but now battle lines being drawn out, a bit of a stalemate being called for now.
Pretty sure the openings of these rounds would kill a Victorian child if you showed it to them. Just chaos every which way. For the first time, though, it's a bit slower. C9 slow down, send the drone back towards C, and now look to retake space into A. They're heading towards the operator, though.
Yeah, Verno's holding it steady. Hand is required for the moment, and, well, just can't quite adjust in time. Bit of a micro flick missing off to the side here. Forced way out of the line of sight, so he potentially would have looked to take.
I know exactly.
Swapped it for the Vandal, though, didn't he? So now Ned gets into a position where he can use his ultimate. They realize that the A site is pretty empty, but both initiators from MIBR could try to flood.
Up through heaven, Armageddon as well. You can use this one to try and at least clear them forwards. The goal
to B.
Yeah, to try and push them back in, and now straight over towards B as well. Swings some roundabouts.
Nice call.
Zephyr being left as an insert.
MIBR don't really know where this has ended. They've lost track.
Cloud9 just holding as well. I think they were waiting for the smoke cooldown before they actually hard committed. And now, play goes backwards once more. Steel Garden, overlap. This is Cloud9. Not too many guns to use here. Got to rely onto the util and just try and buy time for the Zephyr lurk all the way through. But Vic has already fallen. Fault line is waiting. Net's going to be in front of this, though. As soon as this one gets sent flying, there it is. Forwards once more. Artisan sticking. They don't really know what to expect from where these players are. And the Salvas are not coming out in time. That's half already onto the defuse. Going to try and preempt this one. Send the Salvas out nice and early. Cortesia a tap. Pulling these players out wide. Cloud9. The positions are noted. And MIBR, they know exactly what to do into this spot. Last-ditch hurrah and effort there from Zephyr. Decent go of things in the end, but MIBR are in control, even when it gets scrappy.
They're doing such a good job of handling these chaotic rounds, finding their moment to slow things down and play the retakes the way they want to do it.
This one was quite different, though, to the previous rounds. Normally, MIBR have had their opening because somebody on C9, or two players on C9, tried to fight aggro and get into a pretty pushed-up spot.
Bro.
This time, MIBR themselves were the people setting the tempo with that Vice ultimate that really triggered the go button. And yet they still find a ton of success. Cloud9 have got to be scratching their heads here, because what do you do if you play passive in the post plant? That hasn't been working. If you're playing aggressive, they can't find the right timing to disrupt MIBR. What is the adjustment here? Because they're getting into the sites, they're getting the plant down, and yet 5 out of the 6 rounds they've lost have been retakes.
I'd like to see them maybe show a little slower rounds and try and threaten lurk up into the mid-round here. Be that putting pressure over towards B or dealing with this Vice util on C. Pretty much every round that wall has managed to stay up, meaning MIBR can very quickly rotate and put all their attention towards playing the Flood retake on A and B, which has just been killing C9 thus far. The issue, though, you don't have a lot of amazing tools to deal with that. Gonna just have the Stingers this round, though.
Coming into the match, Zephyr leads all Tejo players in VCT Americas in ACS at 245. Imi was talking about Zephyr, you know, having his, what, 17th life game or something.
We're going for 18 maybe here.
Yeah.
See if he can pull it off.
In Kickoff, Zephyr had an amazing match and then still managed to get back to the Zephyr average of the 1.0 rating.
You're going to see a brawl once more here. It's a bloodbath over towards A Rubble. Bit of evade and switch, seeing if they can pull some of this util out blind as anything. Oxy is just slowly crawling towards it, but into the open arms and crossfire setup that MIBR have got cooking and set up. Vic somehow in the midst of all of this one ended up way out of dodge. And he's on the last one left.
He's on defense with an op.
Picked up the stinger. Gonna be waiting for you though. How do you deal with all of this? Aspas happy to be the sacrificial lamb just to seal this one up. 7-1 now for MIBR. They've firmly ran away with the half.
Bit of a happier 7-1 for the Brazilians.
Literally every time.
It is every time.
It's hard not to.
How many years has it been since that semi-final game?
We're not going to be let back into the country.
I mean, we've got to find a different one. Surely.
We love Brazil.
Imi is not on Cloud9 at the moment, is he? He's having a bit of a nightmare out there.
That's a horrible thought.
Yeah.
He is on Cloud9 still.
Artazine picks up the operator as breach.
Listen, guys, reset. Fight to be taken, stun tucked up. Smoke's not going to be helping you out too much when Vic is pulling off magic like this. Like a rabbit out of the hat. Pulls a round out of his ass as well, man. This is just unreal stuff from Cloud9 when they needed it most.
What magicians have you been going to see? I
don't want to know, mate.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
It feels like if C9 just go into that quantity of rubble fights, one's eventually got to have a huge play coming out of somebody to turn it around. Vic tried the same play when they had the stingers in the previous round. Like super deep double teleport to be able to kind of get behind them. Although this is different.
Oh, so clean from Vic there.
Yeah, just do that again then.
If they're starting to get the read on the rubble fights, then maybe it'll make a difference. But the best case scenario here is still a 7-5 lost half.
But as you said it yourself earlier on, when you're rubble fighting every round, you have really high variance in the round. It comes down to the brawl, and they've had enough of rubble, still sending the neon there. But the brunt of the forces of both teams instead posture towards C, and it's a quiet stack from MIBR.
Yeah, MIBR fully in control, aren't they, in terms of the game plans? The way that they're setting this one up feels like they're in the comms almost. Salvo's at your feet. You have to really respect that now. If you are Aspas and he's dodging, juked most of the stun coming his way out. Is it happy to help out over the shoulder there? A couple of stray bullets and Oxy will drop.
There's still Thorns front B. C9 is not going to be able to call this pivot immediately.
It is the nerfed version of the Thorns though, so they've got a slightly earlier entry.
It's dissipating now, finally laying claim to a bit of space onto the B site. Stealth thrown out wide, has to be broken, will do just that. And where are we going, man? Swings and roundabouts, you're just making mad pivots all over the bloody place. And they're trying to go in through baby door. Shanum! Sky could be more than a menace right now. TP just to try and back himself away, and his Cloud9 players are being corralled, picked to pieces. Chomped at the bit. And that's a flawless round from MIBR. I mean, they were like shepherds, man.
I just watched a manhunt. Yeah. I mean, LA's known for car chases, not normally like this, but all the way across the map, MIBR just runs them down.
I think you could see the awareness right from the beginning as to where C9 wanted to go with the breach ultimate, right? You see the way that Aspas is set up. He's looking to try to get
big
an
ass
op pick.
I was trying to run after, then your big ass in front of me.
He's looking to try to get the odd pick right before the breach ult comes through.
Another fight towards A. Yeah. Seen this round many a time before.
Salvo's breaking the door nice and early here. Oxy's trying to get ahead of most of this. He's been dying first in a lot of these engagements. There's that counter util as well for the refight, and it's called for MIBR on top of it all. Vic, we saw magic from this guy, but blinded up, still ulted to the hands of Aspas. Hungry hunting.
They've switched the sides of the map.
Yeah, the spike dropped down into the middle of nowhere.
Vic has his ult to recover that spike, but he's completely separated from that.
Just missing the stray shot. MIBR. Series of unknowns, really, just in terms of where Vic's playing, but he reveals his hand anyway, opening up the door. Aspas does not really care for it. TP up and above, behind. Will be that cleanup in the trade, but still a lot more obstacles to try and overcome if you are Vic.
Oh, he's got the ultimate out.
The ult, but he needs to try and find a safe place to use it. It's not going to be given any of it. Verno, quick to hunt him down.
Last round.
Giving him the Tetlings at the end as well. What's that about? A little bit of beef. 9-2 up. And this has been way more one-sided than I would have expected. After what we saw in the previous map, where it was back and forth basically the entire time. 13-9 finish. And this is Cloud9's map pick as well. Sure, I thought there would be some like high variance, big rubble fight rounds going on, but this has been very consistently MIBR coming out on top.
Gotta go.
Back to the well for Cloud9. This time, just sending 2 players instead. Probably looking to turn this into a B split.
Just trying to condition, like they've got the brunt of their forces over towards that area. Paranoia swoops forwards though, it spells it out nice and pretty. The Thorns sidestep for now. Cloud9 have access to front B. These A players could really do some damage. Oxy's already removed one of them. Rolling Thunder to try and disrupt this one. Plan not going to be going down. A bit of raw spam as well coming in through the main choke points. And okay, we're going to be pivoting back over towards A.
Yeah, they'll have a clean post plan here. It's going to be a second before MIBR's rechargeables come back online.
Fast realizing it. A lot of contact to be caught up top there. And Aftershock to swing. Mitch sets him up nicely. Stealth drone trying to get a handle in terms of the player positions. It's broken, so they know the rough position I've had is in. Still ults are available to be utilized. Zephyr is considering it now. Armageddon held ready, lying in wait, and there it is. It's going to be buying even more time. Well placed. Slight pocket to play in, but time is being bled out, and the refight up towards heaven is even better still. For Cloud9, they're going to deal with Cortesia, and this guy is not stopping and not slowing down. Time is against him, though. Oh, my. Net just delivers it. Bullet to the head.
Finally, in round 12, Cloud9 get the round that you're looking for, where they bait the plant onto B, draw out that attempt at a flood defend with the breach ult there that you're just witnessing, and find that safe pivot into the A site where they can actually play a bit more of a solid post-plant setup. And even then it gets a bit dangerous with Cortesia at the end.
Oxy finds a key kill in that round after having a rough half, just sending it in time after time.
I'll take 3.
You heard it from them, they'll take 3. We'll see what Cloud9 can do to try and crawl their way back, but MIBR are determined to send us to that 3rd map. We're going to be finding out after this. Getting back into it, 9-3, and we heard it from Cloud9 in a replay towards the end. They'll take 3, but yeah, it's a difficult spot to try and fight back from, to be honest. MIBR looking primed to try and take us all the way to Haven.
And kind of a weird map pool that we've got here. I'm not exactly sure why C9 took us to Lotus. We haven't seen it just yet. I'm sure they were expecting their rubble fights to go a lot better for them, but I was surprised not to see a map like Ascent in the pool today. And it is one of those unusual ones where the teams are performing better on their opponent's map pick.
It's a different team on attack, but no different with the Neon Breach Teo here.
This is it, crunch setup for Cloud9. They're looking to try and put the squeeze onto the players in through spawn. Stuns rattling, ricocheting, blind as anything. Addison's lucky that he's alive, but barely a shred of health left to his name here. They're able to just put a stop to any sort of pressure being applied, but Cloud9 relentless in their approach. It's all or nothing from them. And they're able to clean up and at least follow up, putting a bit of a vice grip on them. Shanum, signs of life for him. He's barely there. He's got the spike in his hand, so he's going to be able to scurry away and potentially get that plant down into A. There's a chance to make it winnable.
Spike planted, cover going out.
7 HP in a dream. Paranoia, but no safe position to use it from. He's just got to hit some ridiculous headshots.
Yeah, this is the spot that he's been placed in, as you mentioned. And Cloud9 are not going to be giving anything away for free. Still there's a chance with the timing to be taken. Guns have been looking the other way of things. Smoke propped up. Just out to the side here. Net's going to be sticking this one onto the defuse. Paranoia forward still. It's already just being stuck all the way forwards. And one round for Cloud9. Consolation kills at the end of the day for Shannon.
Bit tragic there for Shannon. If he was slightly wider on the angle, it hit the shot on the player defusing first. No doubt he would have won that round. But instead, C9 stick things through, and after losing pretty much every one of these chaotic brawls in the first half on their Rebel fights, with a very critical one here to get the pistol.
Blind faith that you're going to stick the defuse there.
Yes, let's go.
That's a round that Cloud9 needed to get back into it. Absolutely. Their pistol round strategy worked. And now MIBR are stampeding towards them on C, where there's a trip set up.
Oh my god.
But they are in so early.
It's the kitchen sink. Ricocheting backwards, man. Aspas are being slingshotted. TP's in, up and over towards the top here. Blind as anything for close quarters. That's where the classics are going to be thriving. And the site is now theirs. MIBR, they claim to it. Spike potentially going down. Straight bullets just missing, so extension now earned. Pocket change on top of it, but MIBR not content with that. They want the round win. Trying to press the advantage. Util being used out towards the back here. But the weapons picked up. MIBR not able to carve out too much more from it. Verno and Adsin. Adsin on an island. It's left alone. Verno miles away. Salva's going to be pointing them. If you even choose to use it there to try and dislodge them. But yeah, it's a little bit too late for that.
So a good anti-eco for C9 here.
MIBR with an opportunity to knock this momentum really early. If they can pull something aggressive like that out, but with rifles in hand, I think you saw that C9 were not ready for that tempo. The thing that actually saved them in this round was the fact that they had superior weaponry. But Vic was pure backpedaling on the defensive C. He was not ready for how fast Aspas was in his face.
And a heavy clash about to occur once more. Rinse and repeat out towards a rubble. Patience played by MIBR to begin with. Feigning like they want to try and play this one nice and slow, and they do have the util for a reclear, but Vic, the paranoia, or posture, force them to respect the angles. MIBR now going to be going for it. Second wave of the approach. Smoke's going to be fading, and you don't have the weapon at hand to really deal with most of that one. Still stunned. Ricocheting out towards their side as bodies to be found. Players toppled. Cloud9 still right from behind. It's Oxy with a quick return. Even faster reactions. Spike down and out. Cortesia just rattling off bullets. One through the wall, not enough to get it all done. 4-piece for Oxy in this one, and this is now 9-6 momentum building here for Cloud9.
If you sell a story of a comeback on this defensive side, it has to start with Oxy. Had a rough go at things with these Rebel fights in the first half, but picked some really nice targets on this one. Great awareness to turn and face Shannon. And definitely going to be building the confidence back.
Don't know if you caught it there in the replay, but that is a sad little neon wall that just ran into root and didn't go anywhere. And so the entirety of MIBR were just left out in the open. I think somehow Aspas' wall just disappeared. And here we go, this set play.
Oh my, there's
lots of teams love it.
I mean, it's a set play, but not coordinated with too much more past that point. Shannon has immediately dealt with trips. Not gonna be too much of an issue here. MIBR find themselves a nice little section, peace of mind here with a plant going down as well, but Cloud9 setting themselves up now for the retake with Oxy's ult in hand. One stun to Ricochet, Aftershock and Thorns already being used here, blinds in your face. Aspas glides to the side, hoping to catch that timing here, still trying to control this space, but gonna be meeting the other end of the shotgun, made into mincemeat on the other side of things here. Now the salvos push them out wide. Oxy's momentum completely stalled out, but the bullets raining them down with lead. And a bit of fire and fury here. It's Cloud9 up to that 7th round now. What I said earlier about that momentum being on their side, there's no denying it at this point.
When Shannon dies at the very start of the round like that, you're kind of cooked. It's not that you're missing the smokes, but you're also just missing the paranoia that you'd love to use in some kind of post-plant situation. And MIBR have run this round before. I remember them running a very similar thing at Kickoff. I assume it was against 100 Thieves, but I can't exactly recall. But their coordination on this play does not make sense. it's really far off. You have all the freedom to focus on Shannon before the sight hit actually comes through. There are definitely teams that run that same strategy with a lot better coordination.
And MIBR are going to call their own timeout now. 4 rounds in a row lost here. And from MIBR, what we've seen a lot from them thus far is they haven't been sending it quite as much as C9 did in their first half. A couple of these rounds just feigning early aggression into A, then going for the re-clear plays. Round 15 was pretty effective there, almost got the win off of it. But C9's retakes have been on point.
The body language looks a bit stressed from MIBR. I mean, maybe I'm just reading too much into Werner when he's, you know, a new addition to the team and he's having to adapt to the comm system as well. But he has looked a bit stressed today. And MIBR are not having the greatest run of things here. I mean, they were up great at the halftime, 9-3, and now suddenly there's a game again that they have to fend off a comeback.
These are the moments where the pressure is on for Artisan. He only picked up the IGLing towards the end of kickoff for MIBR. His first team filling into that role. Relatively young player as it's back to what we've seen a million times before, Bren.
Yep. Yeah, but this time with the Odin.
Yeah, into the bloodbath. And there was that little twist, as you mentioned, with the Odin. Raining down and hailing down with a couple of bullets. Maybe that's enough to offset this one. And MIBR could be finding it difficult, yeah. Just unconventional, a bit awkward at best. Shannon, though, is right behind him and lines up with his players. Vic is just instantaneous with the return, man. How is he landing these shots? Snappy as anything. It's a 4-piece in a round for him, and 1 player's left to stand. Cortesia lets them all know. Breaking the trip. But the tension is just stewing in the air right now for MIBR. That tension that, listen, maybe we are reading into things a little bit too much, but at this point, this is a map that is getting away from them, and not just a map, a series.
Vic has got to be one of the most calm players with the way he's aiming in these chaotic positions, keeping his crosshair perfectly placed at head level, predicting every one of those players in what is a round that's very easy to lose yourself in. But it's his second time getting a 4K from that same position this game. And C9, the gap is now down to 1.
Both Omens are playing their teleports really nicely around the Neon meta at Rubble. But this round, they're just going to rotate the map around each other. C9 push out through Mound. Don't quite catch Cortesia there, but MIBR are going to realize and react into A. And now Artisan has this breach ultimate for post-plant. Then again, but I mean, both teams do.
Let's see who gets the better of it. MIBR being allowed a lot of space to set up here. Thorns lay it down. Backside control is theirs. Oxy, wall up and over towards the top. It's going to be cutting the site, splitting it into twain, but slowed down by the util. Rolling Thunder, first line of it. So we're going to see how this one gets used, and Astos has been left alone. Sacrificial is the nature of his position in that spot right there. He's going to be taking most of the contact. Rolling Thunder pushing him back once more, and just trying to hold the line against this net. Perfect time to strike, but the smoke dissipates, and Oxy is revealed. Door needs to open up wide. MIBR winning this one out. Spilling out blood now onto the side, and net just spraying them all down. Bitch, able to capitalize in the end. Time just online for him. Cloud9 now making it even.
MIBR have got to stop the bleeding real early here. Everything that C9 are doing on the defense side is working. It doesn't have to be some major fight over towards Rubble. This was a 5v5 retake.
I know exactly.
And I really like this twist, going really heavily for that push through Mound instead, setting up to flank, but then still kind of getting an opportunity to reset themselves, win out in that retake there. Started this half with only Vic positive for C9, but the rest of the team has come online here. Net, Oxy having a lot of impact. MIBR, another chance on this fight.
See it. Just the smoke propped up. Snellman. They're trying to feign like they could be lurking through, but at this point, Cloud9, they know fully that is not the case. Stealth Jones is going to be clearing all the way through. Net's got to be cautious. He's going to be hearing this util now coming his way. Cambion broken spells it all out, and this reclearance. Cortesia missed the 2K himself. Offers his team a bit of a lifeline. Now trying to enter their way back in, and the shot's just about missing. Aspas needs some help and needs some bailout. He's trying to play his life, and play it he does to perfection. Weaving back and forth here. Any attempt at the return of the fire from Cloud9 is coming up with naught.
All missiles away.
Once more, MIBR get around basically because of Cortezia. It felt like it was happening multiple times on Pearl. Wasn't enough for them in the end, but this guy's had his moments for sure today. In spots where you wouldn't expect it. A 2K with a Guardian. C9 is still going to go for this one, but they are on the outside looking in round 19.
No flashes, no stun. This is going to be difficult.
And that's pass off angle. Loses the first engagement. 6 HP. That's what Mitch has been dropped down to. Util still to be spent out. Layered out. It's an Armageddon. Trying to force the issue. Verno push round to the side here. And in the midst of all this sound cues and the chaos, he takes himself out. Shanum spotted. And he's the last line of defense for them. Time is ticking with that spike rapidly approaching. And at this point, circle probably already shrinking. Saved from a dire circumstance.
It's a Red Bull clutch, only because his teammate dies to his own Armageddon.
I mean, you saw what he was going for. He's looking to try to get the hop up to get the punish down into water, but it's, yeah, not exactly thriving in the chaos there. Bit of a rough one. Little bit rough, but all good. They win the round, and that's an important one for MIBR to get on the board. It's their first attack round that they've been able to win so far here.
Here.
If that's what it took. Hard to replicate still. Oxy up in hand now, and he hears it. Ult offloaded. This is Aspas trying to galvanize the round, inject a bit of speed into it. And Oxy's lucky to just get the hell out of there. Aspas in through the back. He is isolated, alone. Not sure if Net's going to be communicating that. And Oxy has found Shanum as the door was just peeking wide open.
Yeah, that's not great. Now, no smokes, no paranoia for the post plan. They're going to be relying on Cortezia with his Vice ultimate, with Thorns to try to slow the round down. There go the Thorns.
And the Steel Guardian's going to be even better in the back pocket. Let loose, perfect timing on it. Cloud9 looking to try and get back into the fight rapidly at that. So now we get in to try and layer it all the way down and swapping around with a weaponry, Aspas. My God. Two-piece again for him. Time has been bought. TP forwards as well, trying to cut up these angles. Mitch has found that first kill in sight with the salvos. Enough to buy that time. And at this point, yeah, it's not going to be happening. Mitch realizes it.
A much cleaner post plant that round, but it did take everything from them. MIBR had to invest a ton of ultimates to close this out. But they have found a way in here.
Trying to get it off towards the end. We'll see if Mitch is able to find it. No,
not quite.
Bit labored there from Oxy, isn't it? I mean, that's because he's got the operator and was just swinging back in. What's he using there? Some kind of, was that a classic that he was shooting with? I'm not totally sure.
Nice! Nice round, guys. Nice round.
But if that's more of an even duel between the two Neons, then maybe Aspas isn't able to get the 2K and would make it more difficult for them to be able to hold on in the post.
Credit to Aspas these last two rounds. I love the way that he's pathing into the C site. He's done a really good job of kind of having a mental picture of where those tripwires are, avoiding them perfectly on all of these entries, and playing off of Artsin's util very well. The synergy between Aspas and that initiator, who kind of was part of the reason that he's on the team, was Aspas wanting to pick him up off Sasi's recommendation.
I think one of the other things too is that Cloud9 seemed really happy to be playing retake because it was working for them. And these last couple of rounds, MIBR have found opportunities to play together in the post plan and stop Cloud9 from immediately entering on the retake. Whether that's because of Thorns or the Vice ult or by applying a little bit of pressure as they're coming in, fighting Waterfall, these kind of things. Now, what did MIBR do? They've been ending C a ton, and Cloud9 have been playing retake C a ton. I'd expect both teams to be changing that up.
And for MIBR, that changes to go back towards this A fight. C9, though, have their fight squad ready to go with the initiators and Oxy.
We'll see which way this fight ends up going. MIBR haven't been opting all in at the beginning, usually just feigning with an Omen smoke, but this time it looks very much all in. It's a flash TP up towards the side here, Salvos. Yeah, Shaneman's gonna have to offload both of that immediately and rapidly here, just trying to escape from the Aya. Mitch backs himself out just in time, away from that aftershock here. Opening kill advantage. Going away of MIBR, with Oxy being dropped.
In these positions in the first half, C9 always heated up instantly and sent it on a site. MIBR have done a solid job here of slowing the round down and giving themselves some options with their player advantage.
Does become a bit more difficult for C9 to play some kind of flood retake style with Oxy gone. Net started this round with the judge as well. He's going to tuck himself close to B.
It's a perfect position to play in.
He'd love to get a couple walking into him here.
Especially if MIBR are thinking about pivoting into that B hit. That B main control, smoke, lay it down, drop down, and there it is. Judge in hand, Net! It's just ripping them to pieces. And now, there's no pivot option. You have to send it. All in is the play to be made. But precision is the name of the game for Cloud9. And Verno, one man left alone, not for much longer. Sent straight back to the spectator seat, and Cloud9 not willing to give up the map just yet.
And in taking their time there, MIBR almost turned into their own problem, not having any utility to really re-clear front B. Get eaten alive by this judge.
And if it wasn't a judge, if it had been a rifle, wouldn't have been on that angle. They probably would have been able to get in.
The judge, bro.
But yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
the gun makes all the difference in that spot. It really does. And it's allowed Cloud9 to stay within one.
And the money's awkward. Outlaw picked up by Oxy. Long sightline to be watching for any sort of action.
The money's horrid. What is going on with MIBR's buy?
I don't know at all.
Every player's one shot to this Outlaw.
Yeah. And this is where Oxy could do that damage. Again, he's just waiting for any sort of signs. And there it is. Gliding to the side. Second bullet will do it.
Well, Cortezia had a pistol, and now he upgrades to Aspas's rifle.
To be wary of this one, or do you, Oxy? Not to be denied. Chance of a highlight clip here. 3 in around for him, 2 players left to stand. Drop down to 10 HP.
And the reason I was saying the money is horrid is because Ardazine and Verno, the last 2 players alive, kind of forced up into this round.
This could be dire straight, not looking in the right place. And not in the right time whatsoever. This is Mitch sealing it up. 11 to 11 here for Cloud9. There was an instance, a blip on the timeline of MIBR able to get those 2 rounds, but
What are they going to buy here, Brett?
yeah, it's all over the place with the money.
Ardazine and Verno bought down to 100 and 500 credits, so now they've got nothing to
They
work
got
with.
a timeout to talk about it.
Yeah, they have to at this point. And there's a lot on the line here. C9, after nearly letting this comeback slip away, they're again in control. And this is MIBR's second timeout in, I think, like less than 6 rounds.
Fraud in the coach comms. Why did you guys buy again?
It's not good.
I mean, that's a bit of a confusing
Miscommunication
one. It could well have just been a miscomm.
in round 23.
It might have been them thinking that they'd be able to buy some kind of light, or banking on the fact that they were going to be able to get the plant down or something, but they've made it more difficult than they had to here towards the tail end of Lotus.
Oxy's never felt better about an Outlaw investment, though, getting 3 kills that round. And maybe the round to send them to playoffs. C9 2 away from winning this series 2-0. A team that people discounted after kickoff, after losing in the first rounds, but just about on the verge of taking down MIBR, a team considered by most to be one of the top 3, if not top 2, in VCT Americas.
Cloud9 are gearing up for a bit of a crunch is what it looks like. Looking for signs of life from MIBR. This time, stacking their players in the right place. No incorrect guesses.
It doesn't really look like a full crunch to me, though. I mean, Oxy's got the Outlaw, and it's more of a passive trap setup on B with the stun salvo. Maybe a bait and switch.
There's a hard shot to hit, and Aspas immediately returns with the fire. Look at this guy. Lights out. Plays in Ardazine to perfection.
They just ran him over.
It was actually just a great economic investment to have a stinger this round.
Yeah, genius. I mean, yeah. What did Fraud say to him? Just run at them? Aspas, skip through the meadows over towards Mound, man. That's an incredible round for MIBR to suddenly pick up the aggression and storm over C9.
It's a 2v4. Mitch's position is very much known.
They can try and play for this. They have money. Don't have to worry about not being able to rebuy for the potential last round in this one. And if you snap to a couple of more heads, maybe there's a chance of it here. Yes, Rolling Thunder's committed. They think this one's winnable. Already laying siege and laying claim to this site. This is a 2v2 at that. Just missing the timing onto this one, but the phone line is perfection on top of it. Leave it to the 1v1 Mitch. Time ticking. 3 kills into the round, and what a win cons just to Winzel away from him. It's a risky call to make for Cloud9 there, an investment into it, but they do take a heavy, heavy knock for MIBR's economy for this final round here of regular time.
Yeah, massive economic burden here. They do get the plant money, they got a bunch of kills as well, but taking out every single rifle, that's brutal.
Oxy can buy another Outlaw here if he wants. He's going to have his ultimate online as a backup as well. C9, this damage has set them up to send this match to OT.
The only silver lining there for MIBR is that Mitch used his Breach ultimate and Ardazine was in a spot where he actually couldn't. He just had to stay gun out in water.
And C9,
For
it was
the
a
crunch.
fake on the A fight.
Yeah, trying to at least feign it potentially here. Through B, through C, it's familiar scenes. MIBR has seen this one before, but how do you withstand against it? Heat's been turned up all the way, and they want to take this one to OT in the blink of an eye.
Welcome to the Fight Club. Both teams just decide to send it through the spawn, and C9, they'll send this to overtime. Keep the dreams of a 2-0 alive here.
That's the kind of round you get when both teams are opting into the Neon. And both teams are super confident at going for these fights, taking them, brawling. What a call from C9. Back-to-back rounds where both teams just threw caution to the wind and went for it.
C9, if you remember their attack side,
Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Hey, hey!
they sent it almost every single time on A, that's right. And in overtime, do they want to stick to that read of fighting Rubble every round, or are they going to show us a new wrinkle to this plan?
Same play, different round.
Here.
MIBR going for the same play with their contact off of Aspas.
It's their pistol rounds again with that trap play, but no one's fighting.
And this is just rapid, isn't it? A lot of heat being applied now to Shanum. Spotted out here, suppressed, and yeah, capitalize. Quick on the heels is Oxy, and this guy's not giving up any sort of space here. Here's it, dashing up and around here. Stun's gonna be overlapped, overlaid. Oxy, do you dare overstep yourself and try and take this one? Peek, forwards, and he's just ahead of the timings. Util's flying forwards. MIBR trying to gear up for this one into the retake. This guy is unstoppable. It's a 4-piece before finally the rabid dog that Oxy is shut down. And Verno's left to watch in dismay and see how he can just try and find a way through into this round. It's so damn unlikely. 1v4. Cam in your face. Too many layers to peel back and find a way through. Cloud9 get themselves up to series point.
The pace from Oxy completely overwhelmed what Shannon was expecting. We've seen that swapped around a couple of times where it was Vic super heavy backpedaling, but you've got to be well ahead of the play to anticipate that and get out to safety in time.
Oxy ended the first half of attack something like 4-11. He was getting rinsed with those same fast A pops, but in overtime, it's successful. You see how much it means to him in that reaction. And C9 have match point.
I think this is a really tough call here for MIBR. C9 have already showcased that they are happy to just instantly crunch through B and through C. And they're probably not going to do that again because they literally just did that on the most recent defense round. But MIBR have got to start the round respecting the fact that C9 can bring the fight to them and then try to come up with their own game plan for how they get into a good attacking situation. And remember that the attack side has been the problem for both of these teams.
It was a 9-3 half in favor of MIBR. Slipped away in the second. Now looking at a possible series loss. After being so close to beating G2 last week.
Yeah, it's rough for MIBR. For Cloud9 on the other side of things though, they'll be looking forward to trying to wrap this one up here and now. Win here in this series, as we've been mentioning, gives them a lock in the top 4 for Stage 1 playoffs, so they'll be happy with that ticket printed off the backside of this round here, round 26. But for MIBR, it all lays in wait here and now. Bit of disrespect past this one way. Delayed with the salvers as well, reclaiming control of Mound. South drone forwards. This looks pacey. MIBR at least feigning like they might want to go fast, but thinking twice about it.
This camera that Net's positioned out here is going to be giving him really nice mid-round information.
He sees they've all cleared out.
That's going to call Oxy back over towards A. Stun ready here for Mitch. And a great timing on the drone to re-clear front B.
And Mitch doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Double hold it up. Tim and Oxy. Utah being used to try and clear their way back through rubble.
Keeping Cortesia, though, over towards Mount, and the fact that the cam and the drone both got used at the minute mark means that they can now regroup for a C-pop. And I think that MIBR have called quite a nice round here. Net's starting to realize.
But Vic's here, he's been great all map.
How do you hold this one down now? Utah being used all over the place, and he's getting tricky with it again with the TPs! An adjustment! Spray transfer. It's exactly what the doctor ordered. Vic delivers it once more. Aspas alone towards the back, but finally some backup reinforcements arriving. It's Verno. He's quick onto the scene, and a jar with a movement, spraying him down. Mitch left alone to his devices into this 1v1 scenario. 13 seconds left on the clock. This is it. For all the marbles for the series and all, for MIBR to survive at all. Man, stuck down, bullets. Spread wide and past Armageddon. Forwards, Mitch. What position are you playing in? Narrowly avoiding. And the reposition from Verno could be exactly what MIBR needed. Rotating around. The question is, does Mitch clear it? The answer is no. Crosshair placement not quite there. So intelligent with the reposition. Verno saves his team.
The one American player on the Brazilian roster saves the day in this game. Gives him another chance at overtime, but Vic, I mean, what an incredible round it was from him, getting those two, setting Mitch up to nearly win this clutch.
You're looking at that from Mitch's POV as well. He has so many opportunities to nearly win that. I mean, Verno dancing with death in multiple situations that could have had C9 winning the series. But we're back to level.
And we're back to an A fight, Bren.
There won't be any pushback. At least not initially. Alternating up the setup here, MIBR full vice util, playing up over towards A here. Big delay, but in for a tree. Cloud9 already taking this space. TC needs to be careful. His team, though, happy to back him up here. Off to the side of here, and on top of the ropes here with the paranoia flying forwards. Plenty of bodies, plenty of targets. Laying claim here and just firing down from on high. Cortesia making good usage of it. The rest of his team happy to bail him out. Bit of extra firepower. And it just goes both ways here for MIBR now. Map point.
Switching sides.
MIBR with a completely different setup as far as I can remember. I don't recall Cortesia having a super defensive setup like that over towards A with the Vice, and it bought so much time. I thought C9 were going to back up once they realized that the defense was super layered in, entrenched on the A position, but they continued battering their head against it, even as the Flood was coming through and through.
A truly great call from them, and for Cortesia, another one of these rounds when his team is in trouble, where he manages to save the day. It's been on point all matches. It's another OT timeout. C9 back on the defense this time. And now facing down match point from MIBR. The possibility of heading to Haven.
And who knows what we're going to get if we head over to Haven. But it's felt like C9 have had, I mean, ever since the second half began and they've had that massive momentum shift, I felt like they were in control of this game. And now MIBR is starting to come back, reassert some authority here. You can see, even just at the end of that round as well, in round 27, Cortesia kind of readjusting his seat, getting fired up, ready to reposition himself for the next round. Looking like they're mentally alert.
MIBR's done really well with these C hits in the last couple rounds of attack for them. And again, it seems like Vic and Net will be in the hot seat.
Claw through them.
And left to try and push this one back. Usually slow going off the rip here from MIBR. Just dodging to the side here with a... Ooh, the full line! But you got to be careful here, Vic. Lying in wait here, plenty of util, and Aspas is eager to try and lay claim to most of this site. Still angles and pockets to play and weave in and out. Net, the two-piece to be found. The rest of his team, time has been bought for them to try and play themselves all the way back in. Stalemate and pause court for tempering in the midst of the round. A beautiful moment, and MIBR finding all the success in the world.
Another chance for Mitch in the clutch, this time to save this map.
In a 1v3, this is MIBR just trying to sail all the way to Haven. MIBR not taking any chances. There's a tap to try and pull Mitch out wide and open. Aftershock forwards and eager to draw blood. It's 15-13 is how we finish here on Lotus. And MIBR will be taking us all the way here to Haven.
Massive recovery in that final round from MIBR. Discipline for them as they entered through the choke point, kind of baiting the C9 players in and ripping them to pieces. That game looked like it was way falling out of their control after a 9-3 dominant first half, but showcasing that tenacity to stay in there and make sure they could convert in OT.
And now a twist in this series. C9 had the option to play Ascent, the map they decimated Leviathan on just last week. But instead, we head to new ground, Haven, the map they've elected to send us to instead, with a chance to make playoffs still intact if they can win this series.
Absolutely. Still plenty of chances up in the air, and you can tell how both of these teams just need this win. They want this win. It's been lights out, that tenacity and resilience being shown by MIBR. Beautiful work, and we will be heading over to Haven. Time for a quick break. Of course, we're going to be handing it back over to the analyst to break it all down for map number 3. Do not go anywhere.